Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Movement Radio. I am Chip Hazard,
I'm Talon Williams.
And I'm Roger Sierra.
and we're here with another special guest. This is Corissa from Worthy Chaos Comics. Corissa, how's it going today?
Great. Thanks for having me on. This is great.
Man, thank you for coming on. So we usually like to open up our shows with just a simple question. Who is Corissa?
Man, I've had years to answer that. I don't know. But to the best of my knowledge, I am Corissa Grant, and I mostly came from a role-playing background. So I role-played as Claire Redfield from Resident Evil for 15 years. And that's how I started this story. So I've been writing for technically 17 years, but being dyslexic, I started as a one-liner, then pair, multi-pair, and now I can do 6,000 word chapters in like 2 hours. So I got a little better.
That's
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. All right. Well, Chip asked the question, who are you? I'm going to ask the question, who were you before you became a writer, before all the stuff that you're experiencing in your life today? Who were you before?
No one as interesting as I am now. So I mean, I was a gamer. So before writing Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill, all of the horror games, horror classic movies, that was probably my entire existence. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a bad existence, to be honest with you.
I think it went great.
Awesome.
So you've recently created this comic book called Redemption. Tell us a little bit about the process of how that came to be. Like, where did the idea come from, and everything?
Everything. How
Yeah.
much time do you got? So what happened was, as a role player, I had this idea of an angelic weapon. And I held on to this idea for 11 years while I role played with other people that wanted the role, but seemed to fit. And then I met my co-writer, Jessica. And the day after I met her, I said, listen, do you want this role that I've been holding on to? And she said, I don't take roles, but yes, I do. So she took it. I sent her a 4,000 word starter, and kind of went insane and wrote nonstop for 2 years straight. We're still writing to this day. But within 2 years, we wrote 10 novels, and 5 of those novels is this series 1 of Redemption. The other 5 is a spinoff. And I added it up yesterday of all the words we've written that I could find, and we are 15,000 words shy of 1 million. So we're working on that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's like 2 more weeks, because I sent her 10,000 words in the last 4 days, so we should be there soon. But yeah, we're very obsessed with the story. This was not an intentional, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but this was not an intentional thing to happen to comic books. We just got so obsessed with the story that when all of a sudden I was like, this is such a good story, we probably shouldn't waste it. And we thought about releasing it, but our editor, we had hired an editor, said you'd have to pretty much merge the entire story because it's written as a role-playing a thing, and we're like, we don't want to dime from it if we have to destroy the story or ruin any of it. So we decided to not do anything with it. So I said, listen, I'll print it out myself and I'll get us a cover made and we'll just read it ourselves. We're crazy like that. So I went to find an artist for the cover, and I said, these are really kind of cartoony. Do you mind a cartoony? Because we're role players, so we had like actors in mind. She's like, no, cartoony's fine. And I said, you know what? If you don't mind cartoony, what about a comic book? And yeah, she was all for that. And then I hired an artist, and then that night, the same day, I hired an artist, and that night I went to bed and I was like, I don't know how to do a script. So I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I got up in the morning and I watched a 20-minute video. I wrote the first script out, sent it to a letter, and he said, did you plan to see any of the art, or did you just want all dialogue? And I was like, oh, that makes sense. So I had 2 scripts written at the same time because I had to cut it in half and stretch it out. And that was about 7 months ago now, I guess, last October. So a little bit over 7 months. So now we are releasing issue 5, so we are not slow at all. So it helps that it's all written. I mean, it's 45 issues written for this story. So
Right. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Talon, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was going to let you, but since you're giving me the floor, we do this a lot, by the way. We cut each other off. It's fine. What were some of the influences that you had in going into creating this comic?
So it's pretty much Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural in the Silent Hill town in the Resident Evil universe. Like, it's just all of that is in this, and the name fits it. It is very chaotic. The first 7 issues are very Silent Hillish. They're trapped in a town merging with hell. There's hellhounds and ghosts and zombies and demons and Anubis and all sorts of things that are happening. So that is the biggest influence. Resident Evil 2 is Resident Evil in general is a huge influence. Book 2, which is issues 8 through 14, is like Resident Evil 1. They're trapped in haunted asylum, ghosts and monsters on the ceiling and zombies. And then for 10 issues after that, it's Resident Evil 2. They're trapped in a zombie infested city with monsters running around, and they try to get out of the city and fight through their way through the sewers and all that stuff. So I would say if I had to pick one thing, it was definitely Resident Evil. So
Okay. What's been the hardest part of the process of converting your almost 1 million words into comic book form?
Dialogue. There's so much dialogue. When you're writing, you don't have to worry about what will fit in a panel or anything like that. So I would say the dialogue to either shorten it or write more panels, and I generally don't like to shorten anything, so it's more panels. But dialogue, and when you're writing a story, you can be like, oh, there's a knife next to the table where I'm standing, whereas in the comic book I'm like, man, I gotta go back and write 5 pages ago there's a knife on the damn table. So remembering little things like that are interesting to do. So
all right, so in terms of creating the story and having the artwork to go along with it, how important was it for you? Was you involved in the art process from the standpoint, like you found an artist, obviously? Was it more micromanaging to see like, okay, it has to be done a certain way, or I like this, but can we change this character out? This character looks a certain way. Like, how involved were you in the actual art process of the comic?
So it took me months and thousands of dollars to find my artist. My very first artist stole $3,000 from me, and then I lost $2,000 trying to fix it. So pretty much I threw away $5,000. And that made me, that was after months of trying to find that one. Well, that one I found the first day. So after that, it took me months to find one. And he actually found me because I had posted my story on Reddit and Facebook, and I said, does anyone want to do a test page for this? And if I use it, I'll, pay for it. And then you'll have a 45 issue story to do. I had 5 people doing it. He wrote to me and said, are you taking any more submissions? And I said, I will make a deal with you. I will look at it after if I don't pick any of these 5, or I will, and then pay you for a page, or you can give a free one. I'll look at it now. So he did a free one, and it was exactly how I pictured my characters in my head. And after like months of searching for it, it was, I just paid everyone off to go away, and then I hired him. And the first issue he worked on, we butt heads completely. He had images, he's got great panel work, and we've been praised for the panel work, but I didn't understand that because my first artist, I just gave them a script. They did the panels that I gave them, and then that was it. But with him, it would be all over the place, and I didn't understand it. So I finally compromised after arguing with him back and forth. I lowered my panels, and then he turns my 3 to 4 panels into like 8 if he needs to, and it worked out so much better. So he has more freedom in the process of drawing or whatever, but pretty much he just does his page, he follows the script, and he hands it to me. And sometimes there's things here and there that I'll switch, but generally I think out of maybe 10 pages, maybe one thing needs to be changed. But we've had it where I won't need to change anything for an entire issue, and then one page needs like 10 different edits to it. And it was like, I called it the cursed page because it was like the most important page, and it just kept having the stupidest error, which wasn't his fault. And it just was just something, every time he changed something, it changed something else. So, so as far as being involved in it, I give him the freedom, but pretty much we do approve it when it comes in. But I just like to like it and then move on. So I love to get a page. It's very hyper-esque. I get 1 to 3 pages a day, depending on what's in it. Like this past issue 6, he just finished, even though this is 5 we're releasing, but he just finished issue 6. And I felt so bad because I knew they were really hard pages. There was a vampire war going on inside this warehouse, and he said, this page took me forever. I thought it would never end. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, 4 more of those, and then you're in the clear. So I torture my poor artist, and I love him for it. So.
All right. Well, it sounds like you got a good artist there.
Yeah. And
I have to say, he's actually incredibly amazing. This is his first paid job. He's never worked for anyone in comics before. He's incredibly nice, patient, and he's very into the story. Like, he went away for 30 days, and 2 weeks in, he's like, I miss drawing it and I can't wait to get back to it. He's like, it's such an addicting story to draw. So you can't really buy that kind of loyalty. So he's not just some paid artist. He's actually a part of the team, and I absolutely could not do this without him. So he's not allowed to go anywhere. He's going to be chained to my basement for as long as possible.
Well, I mean, that sounds a little scary, but sure.
Yeah, well, he posted on Facebook 2 days ago, and it was RoboCop. And I don't know if you know RoboCop, but he put that this guy died and his boss made him come back to work. And I wrote in the bottom, I was like, that's the boss I'm going to be. So just be prepared.
I think I've seen that, actually.
Yeah. Cracked me up. He's like, you got it. So he's already promised to stay for the whole 4. Actually, he got upset yesterday. I told him, it's too bad you can't do the spinoff. And he goes, why can't I do the spinoff? Because that has 40 issues written. And I said, because it's going to take you 7 years to do these 45 issues. And he's like, oh yeah. And then we're working on series 2 for the redemption, and then I'll have to do that. So yeah, I hope he's got 20 years of doing this in him.
I mean, if he wants to do it, let him do it.
He doesn't. Oh, when I find a way to clone him, I most certainly will do it. But yeah, I don't think he's we've got 45 issues. He could do, so far it seems like he could probably do 7 to 9 a year, but eventually he's going to get more work. So, right there, if he did at the lowest 7, what is that? 7 years? Yeah. So 7 years. So we'll see. Yeah. And series 2, we're already 6 issues into series 2 of Redemption. So by the time 5 years is up, we're going to have like another 5 books. So when you find a way to clone him.
Especially if you continue to write this particular story or spin-offs from this story. So this is all self-published, correct?
Absolutely. It's just me. I pay for everything. Well, I mean, Kickstarter helps, obviously, but
right.
Yeah, I'm still in the red for now, but like I said, I just started, and the last Kickstarter did really well. I'm hoping this one does. I mean, it might not do as well because it's so soon after. I don't know if my family and friends and fans can afford me, but it's only been 4 weeks since the last one ended. So we'll see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we release every other month. So this one's June 20th through July 17th. The next one is August 15th. And then issue 7 with the graphic novel will be October 3rd through Halloween. And book 2, I gave everyone November and December off to replenish and to spend their money on Christmas presents. And then January 23rd, book 2 starts. So
have you reached out to any publishers and pitched them your comic?
Yes, screw them all.
Oh wow.
Well, they wouldn't even read. I had my proposal professionally written by my editor friend, and none of them, well, none. I tried like 3. None of them would read it because they said as soon as they saw that there was more than 3 issues, they are no longer interested in the story. One said that 60% of the people don't buy 2 and 30% of the people don't buy 3. So there's no point in going over 3. And I said, then you have the wrong story because you kind of want them to keep reading it. So
Yeah,
I,
It
yeah,
don't make sense at all.
that doesn't
No,
make
it
sense at
doesn't.
all.
No.
you could see how it failed DC and Marvel through the years of having, less than 3 issues. So yeah, and then the second guy said the same thing. He said, you will never see all 45 issues drawn. And I said, listen, it might take longer, but I'm going to have these written. So whether I have a house or not at the end of it's a different story. But I will eventually get these made because it's more for me. I want to see them done. It's just nice if someone else enjoys them. But I'm not really looking for profit for this. I mean, the more money I make from it, it pays the bills and it pays the expenses. But mostly, I just want to pay my artist more. He's severely underpaid. He picked his price. He has no idea his worth. So nobody tell him. So he doesn't know. But the more I make, I told him the more I will give him. So hopefully the Kickstarters do good. And I just want enough to pay my artists and have these made, and then I'll be a happy camper. So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
So wow. In your own words, what does making it in the comic book industry mean?
Oh, like that moment that you feel like you made it.
Yeah.
I to be honest, the first thing I thought of when someone asked me that is to be asked to be on a panel at a con, even if it's a small con, to have them reach out to me and ask me to be a guest there. That would be like the ultimate, because it makes you feel like you know who I am, So I would say someone asking me to be a guest or on the panel or anything like that. I would or whatever at a con. So somebody that recognizes me, I would like that. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other stories mulling in your brain besides Redemption?
So there's not a lot of room in there. For this story, there's like I said, the 45 issues and then the continued story. The spin-off we're also still writing, and that's 35. So we have more stories, but they're always these characters. These characters are permanently in our head. We're also going to be doing the prequel, which we already have 5 issues for, but we're going to probably do 5 books for, where you get to see how the weapon came to be, how their fathers came to be, because the characters, so she's an angel descendant and he's a demon descendant, and their fathers have been after this, been fighting over this angelic weapon that holds the power of souls for decades, centuries. And eventually Remnal, the angel, created her from the weapon. And then they realized that they needed it to tip the scales of the war for heaven or hell. So the whole thing is them, these 2 fathers trying to get the angelic weapon from them. So in the prequel, you get to see how that happens. And now you just kind of see them, pulling the strings along to try to get this weapon from her. And she has to be killed in a certain way, ritual way to do it. And so that's pretty much the goal. It's kind of a survival horror story. It would be a great game to play, but I'm not that creative.
I'd say it sounds like it could be a video game, to be honest.
Yeah, I could totally see it. You have to find the gems, you have to find the certain keys, and all our stories, every issue has an Easter egg from a horror game or a horror movie or something. I'm old, so like 80s or 90s horror. But like the first one is like a crocodile in the sewer. The second one's the typewriter from Resident Evil that you save on. So we have the sweater from Freddy Krueger. So you've got all these little Easter eggs you could find in the background. And for this Kickstarter, we actually have a really cool add-on. You can actually get yourself drawn in as a zombie in issue 8. And you can either stagger on as a zombie, or you get to pick your own demise. So My brother has chosen to get his head chopped off, and I am more than okay with doing that. So I'm excited. Been waiting years for this. So
Yeah. I can't do it in real life, so by God, I'll have somebody do it for me on paper.
that's right. I mean, he's actually the one that got me into comic books, because in the 90s he brought me to a comic book store and I saw Ghost Rider, and I was hooked on Ghost Rider for a decade. So it's his fault. But the ironic thing is, when I went to go make a comic book, he actually thought it was stupid. He's been reading comic books for 40 years, and he was like, it's not your story if you turn it into a comic book. I was like, of course it is. It's my story. Like, that makes no sense. And now that it's been released, he's like, he buys every single one of them, and he's like, when's my next copy? I was like, you'll get it when everyone else gets theirs. So anyway.
So you said the your next Kickstarter starts when?
So October 20th, sorry, June 20th. So I don't know when this airs, but June 20th through July 17th is our issue 5. You can get all the other issues. In fact, if you want to, you could just get the issue 1 PDF or the print 1, or you can get any of them in the back issues as an add-on or anything. So we always have the variants available and everything in the add-ons. We've got like thousands of add-ons. So then that's issue 5, and then issue 6 is August, and issue 7 and the first graphic novel for all first 7 is going to be in October.
Okay, and where can people go to find your Kickstarter?
The easiest way to find my Kickstarter is to just search for Worthy Chaos Comics, just Worthy Chaos, and we're the only thing that pops up. So that's the fastest way. Also, we have a Facebook group called Worthy Chaos that people join. For other indie creators, they can post their Kickstarters when they launch, or artists can post their work so that because mostly I'm surrounded by indie creators. So I have a very good support system. I love supporting other indies, so we all support each other. So I always like recommend people in my Kickstarters. I like to cross promote with people and stuff like that. So it's a very great indie community, fortunately for me. So
for the people that don't know, go ahead, Chip.
I was just going to say that's awesome.
Yeah. For the people that don't know, and for the people who for the people that don't know, what exactly is a Kickstarter campaign when it comes to certain things? Like you hear it all the time, Kickstarter for this, Kickstarter for that. And there's some people that are like, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say a Kickstarter campaign?
So Kickstarter is a crowdfunding where it's super easy to sign up. You just need your name and your email. You don't even need anything else on there. And then all it does is it gives you a start date. So right now it's in pre-launch. So if you were to search Worthy Chaos, you could see my current pre-launch. I think I have 76 followers, and then you could see my past Kickstarters and how much they made and how many backers I had. So what they do is when they hit the pre-launch button, when it launches, it's going to launch around noon next Tuesday. They'll all get an email saying, go ahead, you can go back this now. So what you would do is you would go on and you would get to see all the rewards and all the tiers that you can get. So like for $5, you can get the PDF for issue 1 or PDF for the current one, issue 5, or you can get like a catch-up tier, which is 1 through 5 for like $15 PDF, or I think it's like 50 shipped for the first 5 issues. Or you can we have a heavy metal tier where it's a metal cover, metal trading cards, metal bookmarks, all this cool metal stuff. I'm merch queen. So we have plushies, we have statues and 3D printed statues and pillows and coins and stickers, buttons. We have a song that was written and performed just for our Kickstarter, or just for our characters. That was you can get on there as an add-on. You can get if it goes to, I think 1,300. If it goes to 1,300, that's our first stretch goal, and then everyone will get 16 additional PDFs of other issue 1s. So ideally, if it gets to 1,300 for $5, you can get 17 PDFs for $5. And every time you get our PDF, you get both the black and white and the color version, because my artist has really cool black and white and doesn't cost me anything. So
Right.
All right. Do you have a website?
I do. Worthychaoscomics.com. You can get the PDFs, the song, and back issues on there. The Kickstarter is always better though, because it's the same price and you get really cool stuff with the Kickstarter. I think our goal is 1,000. Last time we funded in 6 hours. I don't know if we'll be that lucky this time. But here's crossing my fingers.
All right. So tell everyone where they can follow you and Worthy Chaos Comics.
So I'm very active on Twitter. I have like 5.2 thousand followers. And I tweet all the time, the covers I have and all that stuff. So at @worthy_chaos is the best way on Twitter. On Facebook, you can add our business page, which is Worthy Chaos, but the group is the best thing. So we have 500 members. And if you join it up, you could see everything ahead of time, the rewards and everything. And you can get an idea of pages. Like we give out, we show page art and stuff, mostly because I love sharing it. So if people didn't stop me, I would show the whole damn thing. So it's not a good practice to show your stuff for free, but and then you can add me, Carissa Grant, because I talk to pretty much anyone, and I'd be one of those kids that get kidnapped because you just talk to strangers nonstop.
All right.
There
Well,
you
everybody go follow Worthy Chaos on Twitter, join the Facebook group.
Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
follow the
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. We'll have links to all that in the description below. Carissa, we greatly appreciate you joining us this evening and telling us about your comic book. I've personally read the first 2 issues. I think it's great.
Yes, it is.
It is.
I I'm definitely interested to see where the story goes. I realize there's 2 other issues. I haven't got those yet. I will get those very soon, so I can keep up with the story because, like I said, it's very interesting up to this point so far. So with that being said, if you'll hang out for just a minute, Talon's going to pay a couple of bills for us, and then we will let you be on your way.
All right. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of An Evening With right here on Movement Radio. Anything you guys want to say before we bounce out here this evening?
As always, check out movementradio.us. That is your one-stop shop for all things Movement Radio.
What you got, Raj?
And as always, on the YouTube, just hit subscribe, hit the share button, like, and leave a comment. Just keep growing this channel as much as we can.
Absolutely. And shout out to all of our sponsors, of course, the OGGearAnime.com, audibletrial.com/movement radio, Canva, GetResponse, Elementor, Zulily, W.GG, Just Cash Clothing, and Entertainment Earth. Thank you to all of our friends that's been down with us since day one. You guys know who you are. We thank you very, very much for all the love and support you guys have been giving us. Once again, Carissa, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll holler at you next time. Hit them with the outro.
Please do not leave without leaving a like, comment, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and right here on YouTube.
Check us out on all of our social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, click that bell to get notified of our latest videos. Check out streamlabs.com/movement radio/merch. Go copy some merch. And again, movementradio.us, your one-stop shop for all things Movement Radio.
I am Chip Hazard.
I'm Talon Williams.
And I'm Roger Sierra.
And this is Movement Radio.
God's plan.